Today's video discusses an important modification to the original video we did on connecting your Shopify store to SimpleCirc using Zapier. If you haven't watched that video yet, please watch that first, then come back here to learn about 2 additional steps you can add to your Zap to make it work better. If you previously created the Shopify to SimpleCirc Zap, you should see something like this when you go in to edit it. The Shopify order is the trigger. Then you use the formatter to convert some of the data, and finally you send that to SimpleCirc with the create order action. What we now know is this works fine if the order contains a single line item, but when people start ordering multiple things, that messes up the Zap to SimpleCirc. So we're going to go in and add a few steps, and that will allow us to process each line item individually. We'll get started by adding a step between the trigger and the formatter. The step you want to add is Zapier looping. So in the search box at the top, type looping and then select the looping app. In the Looping by Zapier app, you'll want to choose an action event and select Create Loop from Line Items. Now we need to set up all of the data that we want to get from each individual line item. The first piece of information you'll want is the SKU. So you type in a name and then you select the data that you want to use. Here I'm searching for SKU and I'm selecting line item SKU. Continue that process for any other fields. At a minimum, you'll want line item quantity, and then also you want to get the amount they paid from the line item. That may vary, but in this case, I've chosen line item's original unit price, set shop money amount. Then if you test this step, you should see the data from the first line item in the test order. In this case, I can see my SKU, quantity, and amount are correct, so I can continue. Now I've got my looping step done, and it's time to add one more step between looping and the formatter. For this step, we're going to want to choose the filter tool. The reason we're using this filter step is to filter out any line items that are not subscriptions that should go to SimpleCirc. So if somebody ordered a hat or a t-shirt, we don't want those line items to continue on through our Zap. They should get stopped right here, and only subscriptions will go through to the next step. So click Choose Field. Then on the left, you want to select the Create Loop from Line Items section. That way we're getting just the data from a single line item, and then select SKU from that list. Then I set my condition as text exactly matches, and I enter the SKU that I want to let through, in this case 1 year. And then I'm going to use the add or rule group to add any other SKUs. So in this case it would pass it through if it were 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, etc. Then test the step to make sure that this particular line item would continue to the next step of the Zap. Now that we've added the looping and the filter, we need to edit the formatter step to use our new data. For the lookup key, we're going to have to select our new information from the line item. So select a field, use the create loop from line items, and select the SKU from there. Finally, we're going to edit the create order step in our Zap. You can see we'll keep the output from our formatter step as the number of issues purchased, but we need to change the copies to use the quantity from the create loop from line items area as shown here. And we need to edit the amount due and the amount paid to use the price or the amount from our create loop from line items area. And that's it. We should now have a Zap that is triggered when an order is placed in Shopify. We loop through each of the line items. We filter out those line items to make sure we're just getting the subscriptions that we want to pass to SimpleCirc. We use the formatter to change a little bit of our data. And then we finally use the create order action in SimpleCirc to create that order and that subscriber and subscription in SimpleCirc. Thank you.